Hey guys, welcome to Whispers of Charleston. My name is Savannah. Today we're going to talk about the French Quarter. So, the designation French Quarter is a modern one for Charleston, but it's an invention in 1973 was in recognition of the city's French heritage. The nomination of the French Quarter to the National Register of Historic Places in 1973 was also designed to focus attention on the block bounded by East Bay, Cumberland, and State Streets and Lodge Alley, where a collection of mostly 19th century warehouses was slated for demolition for a condominium project. Charleston's French Quarter is an amorphous area which extends in all directions from the intersection of East Bay and Queen Streets in Vendu Range, where historical records show a clustering of French Protestants and French Catholics during the 18th and 19th century. I gotta flip the book. Most of the French Quarter area was already on the National Register as part of Charleston's old and historic district. Therefore, only the Lodge Alley block, containing the endangered buildings, and which was not in the old and historic district, was added to the National Register in 1973. The buildings were brought from the developer by the Save Charleston Foundation, which conducted a national campaign to raise money for the purpose. Subsequently, the buildings were conveyed to developers who rehabilitated them as a hotel, office, retail, and condominium complex. The renovation of the Edict of Nations, which had guaranteed freedom of worship to the Huguenots in French by Louis XIV, I believe, in 1685, sent waves of Protestant refugees to the Netherlands, Germany, England, and America, including South Carolina. Descendants of these Huguenot immigrants included Theodore Gilliard, Samuel Purchaire, and Samuel Cords, who lived on East Bay north of Lodge Alley in the 18th century and 19th century. On the other side of East Bay, stretching south from Vendu Range, Samuel Prileau, Prioleau, of French and Italian Protestant descent, owned in the late 18th and 19th centuries a complex of wharfs, stores, and warehouses. His name and those of family connections are memorized in Prelude Cordos and Gennard Streets. A second wave of Frenchmen came to South Carolina in 1755 when 1,000 Acadian exiles were dumped in the colony by the British. These French Catholics were badly treated by South Carolinians of both French and English descent, who thought of them still as enemies. Most moved on to the West Indies and Louisiana. A descendant of one Acadian family which stayed was Basali Lanani, Lanneau, who in the mid-19th century occupied a building on East Bay, just north of Vendu Range. I don't speak French, sorry guys. Shared a building with Robert D. Lamont, one of the several hundred refugees from the bloody slave revelation on Santo Domingo. Lamont arrived in Charleston in the 1790s. The Santo Dominion refugees were the most numerous of the French who came to Charleston in the late 18th and 19th centuries. Some Frenchmen came during the American Revolution as volunteers on the Patriot side. During the 1790s, when pro-French fervor in Charleston was at its peak, the city harbored French privateermen who used it as a base to prey on British and Spanish shipping. Later in the 19th century, the Napoleonic Wars brought French exiles to the city. Many of those French Catholics included Atani Panasnagini and John L. Ambali Piznat. Sorry, guys, I don't speak French. I'm terrible at these names. Properties in the French Quarter. Charleston's most French building is 178 to 180 East Bay Street, built soon after 1794 by the French merchant Stephen Lefevre, Lefevre. Sorry about that one. Sorry for y'all's ears. I wish I spoke better French, but I don't, so I apologize. Alright, well, that's it for the French Quarter. Hope y'all enjoy. Alright, have a good one. Bye, y'all.